on the key. So welcome, Mike. We're happy to have you join us. Thank you so much for agreeing to join our group. Before we get into your pregame talk, we always do a little ask me anything with our guests so we can get to know you a little bit better. You get to know us. I'm going to start you off with some easy ones and then throw it to the group for the more tricky ones. They're good at coming up with tricky questions. So first one, can you just tell us a little bit about your officiating journey, kind of how you started, how long you've been working, and so on? No, you're muted. Let's see. Okay. No. Doesn't look like you're muted, just we can't hear you. Maybe the mic you're using?
He's not muted.
I know.
See me.
I can see you. I can see you talking.
Yeah, we see you.
I just
now
texted
Still
him.
muted. There you go. You should be able to hear him now, right?
How about now?
Yes.
Ah, there you go.
There we go.
Got you.
Okay, take a look at this. This is a very new computer I just bought a couple of days ago from Costco. Good computer. I have earbuds and I have a headset. None of them will pair with the phone, with the laptop right now.
Oh, no.
But you can hear me okay now, right?
We can hear you. Yeah. Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay. Who's a visitor in the background?
No, this is Chewy, Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And we got Ray behind me, and then Phoebe's in the hallway. So.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, because I keep saying like a mute. How about now?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, all right, let's run with it. Okay, so hi, I'm Mike Andrews, as you well know. I've been officiating 31 years.
Wow.
Wow, who said that?
That was me. That was me. I'm just impressed every time I hear the numbers because you guys don't look like you're old enough to do the many years that you've done.
Yeah, 31 years. Yes, yeah, I agree, Coach. Yeah, I've been officiating 31 years in this association. I wish I would have started 10 years earlier than I did, but I was coaching at that time. I was coaching Pop Warner football in Mira Mesa with Gary Big Hands Johnson, if anyone remember him.
Oh, yeah.
Gilbert.
Yep.
And I was also coaching at Claremont Chieftains. Actually, Cliff Bateau and myself went over and started Claremont over there. And while I was officiating, I ran into a guy I went to high school with by the name of Kevin Smith, one of our officials. And he said, Mike, hey, why don't you become an official? And I was like, you know what? That sounds good. I'll look into that. But 10 years later, I finally joined, as I was always going to football games with my brother. And, oh, that's holding. Oh, that's clipping. Oh, that's this, that's that. And he said, why don't you start officiating? And I did. And now I miss all of those. I miss all of those calls. But nonetheless, yeah, it's been 31 years, Katie.
Okay. Very cool. So most of us are second years. We've got a transfer on as well. As we're working this year, what do you think is the most important thing for us to be focusing on?
Hearing and I'm seeing that your focus is there. You guys are putting in the hard work, as Mike Carey would say.
Okay.
And that's highly important. Putting in the work, putting in the time, communicating with each other, reviewing film, rules study. I'm hearing great things from this class, and you guys are doing a great job in putting in the work. I don't know the value or the volume of your work. If you're working girls' games, freshman games, JV games, varsity games, other flag leagues or what, I don't know the level of that is, but reps are highly important. And I will suggest, and you probably heard this from others too, is the reps, being out there in the battle and see what comes from that to see what your makeup is. Are you there where you're at and things you need to work on? But just keep putting in the work as you have. And again, this is a great class. You guys are putting in extensive work as this meeting is right now compared to other classes, I'm very sure, especially the class I was in 31 years ago. We had Frank Afano, and you guys all heard about Frank if you didn't meet him. Awesome guy. Dave Sibbett. We had about 40 in our class. I'm still friends with most of them to this day. Been to weddings, birthdays for the kids, a lot of outings. So we all became close. I'm very sure your class has. But the most important thing, again, is to get in those reps and apply the things you guys have learned from Mr. Garza and others, and just keep working, trial by error.
So as second years, we're all hopeful to get drafted next year as a crew chief. What is it that you're looking for when you're doing your draft?
You probably heard from other crew chiefs that have been on this meeting is that it's based on the numbers first off. When we're in the draft, are you first? Are you 15? Are you number 28 or 30 or 33? And reverse going the other way. But the first thing I look for, my first draft, like all the crew chiefs, is going to be a back judge. And then I'll go line judge and then umpire. And then I'll fill in the others. But what I'm looking for in those individuals are people that are putting in the work, for one thing. Ones that I've probably have worked with before, that I've seen, that I keep that nugget in my head, and I won't tell Dave Garza who the good ones are. It's cutthroat.
We've heard that. It's cutthroat.
Yeah, I will keep your name in my mind here. There's a few I have right now, and I'll just wait and I'll play the numbers there. But what I'm looking for is an individual that is ready to officiate, that's ready to go to work, that's ready on if the Thursday game, if we have a Thursday or Friday, you're gonna put in the work. We're gonna go to work. And movement, movement is high. The way you move, I don't care if you have a bum hip leg, like I have a ankle and little hip thing. I have to patch it up and get ready for the game so I can put in that energy. I look at that because we move the game. The game is moving along, and you could be in position. And again, having those injuries or those setbacks doesn't stop you. Are you in position? And that's what I look for. And I get information from hopefully Mr. Garza and others on on others, how they work. And I keep that in mind as well. So a person that is ready A person that has put in the time is highly important for me. And I go by what Tom Abel say. I look at his information and I look at the ratings. One of the good things is too now with our rating system is that the crew chiefs are rating.
Mhm.
So we don't get that unbiased or that other kind of information. We're getting some true strong ratings from the crew chiefs, and that's highly important. And that's what I look for.
Cool. That's awesome. That's great feedback. And then my last one, and then I'll open it up to the group. What's your favorite thing about officiating?
I would definitely say the players.
Yeah.
The players, they give me joy.
Yeah.
Even when they're doing too much
Mhm.
or excessive, I enjoy the players. Um, like yesterday, I was on the field all day with flag football,
Okay.
parochial flag,
Yep.
like 7 games. I had to go
Oh,
from
wow.
Mater Day by my house to St. Augustine and work 4 more games after the 3 I had at Mater Day.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And the reason why I'm saying that about that level is because I end up seeing those kids in high school,
Yeah.
in college somewhere, and they will say hi to me.
No.
And I'm like, I feel so good about that. It makes me feel so good. I even had a game a couple of weeks ago where it wasn't a good game. Oh, it was a great game. Kids were good. The game was good, but there was a mistake. And I'm killing myself, slapping myself, and going over it. Not down on myself because you have to get to the next play if you have to finish the game.
Yeah.
But at the end of that game, Katie, number 57, I won't say from the school, came to me and said, Ref, thank you. Great game.
Oh,
From the losing team.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. My chest went, and I walked off the field, and everything that happened prior to that was history. So definitely it's the players, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I have some coaches that I am partial to that were great people and stuff like that. And I enjoy the coaches too. Um, there was a coach that passed away from Mira Mesa
Hmm.
a few years
Mhm.
back, and I still have his picture on my phone. So I do develop relationships out there,
Yeah.
and I do encourage kids when I see them out there. So it's a compassion for me, and that's just my strong suit.
Yeah.
It's the people. So that's what I enjoy about it.
Cool.
Hoping that wasn't too mushy for you.
No, it's great. I
No.
love
Yeah, no.
hearing it from everybody.
Yeah.
All right, those are the softballs. So handing it out. Anyone else from the group have questions they want to ask?
Yeah, I do. Mike,
Jeez.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, I have plenty of black shoes. Okay, next person.
How did you know that was
Leon.
coming? Hey, I was up in
Hold on,
LA.
let me take this back. I love this guy here. He knows it. So
That's why I can do that. I was up in LA the other week
hmm,
when the Chiefs were playing that team that used to be here, and I wanted to come down and see you, but I was down by the Chiefs locker room. I didn't know where you guys were, and by the time you guys hit the field, I had to be upstairs. But I really wanted to touch base with you and Clay, and didn't get that chance. So that's how much you mean to me. I'm looking for you.
you know that, Coach. I respect you and love you dearly, Coach. Definitely. And I'm glad you're over here on the other side of the yard line there, or what you call it, the sideline. I see your sign in the back. What's with that? You don't like the Chiefs?
I love the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I worked 30 years. I worked 30 years with that team that used to be here.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So,
Well, when you're down there again, if you're down there from the visitors locker room, just head the other direction in the stadium, and we're right there next to the officials. I would love to have you come in and actually sit on the pregame as well. So,
oh, that'd be awesome.
yeah,
I hate that stadium now. It's the worst I've been to.
it's a weird stadium. Yeah, just to let everyone know, if you enter the stadium on the fifth level, just keep that in mind because the next level where the street is, I believe, is level 6. The stadium goes at an angle and it goes down 4 or 5 levels.
Hmm.
Excuse me. But yeah, it's a big stadium, but kind of weird layout. Anyone else?
Yep. Hey, Mike,
Muhammad.
this is oh, go ahead. You say Mohammed?
No, go ahead, Malik.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Malik. Hey, this is Malik. Thank you
Malik, I'm
for
sorry.
yes, sir, coming aboard, man. Appreciate you doing this. And thank you for sharing. Katie touched on a lot of things that I was even, thinking about. But when you was talking about, coaching as long as you did, and then getting into, becoming a referee in your journey, I was impressed by that as well. And I also coached with that coach that you're talking about who passed away. So that was he was dear to me as well. But when you were coming up as a new official, and how important was for you to learn multiple positions and the value of doing that as you move forward?
Great question. Malik, my favorite position is headlines. And I know probably most of you, your first year, and probably even this year, you've probably been put at one of the flanks or so. But my favorite is headlinesman. I seem to be in more control, more focused, more engaged, if I may say. But I was tossed around in all positions, back judge, line judge, now referee. A few times I'm tossed over as an umpire, in which I like umpire. I can do it, but I'm always assigned those other positions. And one of the things as you guys are well aware, those positions you have to put in the study of that position.
Hmm.
Doing the mechanics. Okay, are you the headlines? What is your pregame outline that you have on your 3x5 when you're speaking to the chain crew? Okay,
Yes, sir.
and those positions, if it's 4, 3, 4, 5 man, what are you assigned to do? Same way with the line judge. Okay, 4 man, but you're gonna have the clock. Even in 5 man, you have the clock. Clock awareness, work on your scrimmage kicks. So it's actually doing the study and knowing where to be and what you're looking for, like in your zones, zone reads, which we'll speak on a little bit later here. So that's the thing, Malik, that I try to do is get myself prepared for those positions. And now let's say now for a referee, same zones where I'm at on my mechanics, and then knowing the tendencies of the quarterbacks. Okay, there's some quarterbacks, and keep this in mind when you're back there, that some are handoff, some are screen passers, and then some are wild, as Dave will know. They can look left, turn around, come back the other way, and hit a receiver on the right side. They can scramble. And so how are you going to position yourself to keep a vision with that quarterback when he's under duress, or something that's happening through him, like a grab and restrict or something. So I had to learn, those and really be patient and understand where I'm at in all those positions. Uh, it's still a learning curve. It's still a learning curve. And when you're in the pregame, just go to see what they're doing, even though it's going to be different in the game. But just knowing your position and knowing your keys, knowing your zone, and to know who's your strong suit, who's your strong receivers, is that running back, who's your strong guy on the offensive line. The way to do that is if you're in a Friday night 5-man game, communicating with that person in that position who had that team the prior week. So,
Right.
does that help?
Thank you. Yeah, well, it helps a lot. I mean, I was working with Bob Flavin, and he talked to me the same way. And a couple of days before our game, he wanted me to know all the responsibilities on scrimmage kicks and free kick for all the positions before I got there. And I was like, "Ooh!" And then once I thought about it, I said it makes a lot of sense because you need to be prepared, and knowing 4-man, 5-man, all that. So I see what you're saying. How much time do you spend on film? Like you were talking about learning about the other teams or their tendencies and stuff like that before your games.
It's a short answer, but it doesn't get to the great detail. A lot. So I will contact someone on the crew to look at the game that is coming up. I need to have some information. I know there's times, to be honest with you, there's times I don't. I'm just like, okay, I know this coach, I know pretty much this team. I won't seek that information. I will just wait to see what I have. And then there's others that I will seek, to get that information. Like, okay, what is this new quarterback like? What is this offense like for this school? Like past week, we had El Camino and La Costa Canyon. Okay, I know the coaches, more so Silver Cool at La Jolla Country. I'm sorry, at La Costa. I know what he's going to bring in pregame or how his questions and his demeanor during the game. I had his team last year as well. But if I'm correct, this is a new type of thing they're running, and the quarterback seems to be executing at a high level. So I needed that information. I needed to see some film on that. El Camino, we had one of our guys that did the scouting to get that information, and he presented it to the whole crew. But I look at film my past week film. Okay, so Friday we had our game. That get home midnight or so, eat something, shower up, go to bed, be at the new school by 7:15 in the morning. Couldn't do cut-ups, couldn't review. But the crew, and this is what I'm talking about with crew concept, the crew are always into that film soon as Steve sends it out, and they're texting. There's like, my goodness, there was about 20 text messages today of what they've seen and things like that. So, okay, well, I go do my cut up and I send it to them, and they already know for the most part. But film is huge. It's a great tool for us. So I'm glad we have it.
All right. I want to make sure we have enough time to get through all your stuff, Mike. So I'm going to cut us off there. If we've got more time at the end, we can open it back up for more just general questions. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you. Do you want me to share the stuff you sent, or are you going to share it?
With this system the way it is, I think I'm going to have you do it, Katie.
Yeah.
And it's the attachment that says pregame subtopics.
Okay.
And please, please, please cut me off because I get compassionate about this stuff.
Hey, we love it. We're
Trying to move on. While Katie is looking for the attachment that says pregame subtopics. Yeah, there we go. And so
that big enough for
everyone,
people?
yeah, I'm going to change the script here of what I was going to do because we really will be here for 2 hours if I sent the attachments I was going to send. Okay. So this one here is basically like a pregame talking points, pregame information. And I'm sending this to you for the ones that are white hats on youth games, girl flag games, on whatever game you have, a varsity game, a freshman, or JV game. I'm not sure if all of you already have been assigned a white hat position, but in that case, and you may already have start formatting some kind of pregame outline for yourselves. If not, great, you're going to have time to it. Thank you, Dave, for posting or entering all that pregame information on our website. So you can go to our website, pull up information that you can use. And these are nuggets. These are only nuggets, but create your pregame for the way you will like it, for the way you would like for it to be. Again, I mentioned go ahead, Mohammed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I unmuted myself.
So there's girls flag games, which I'm sure some of you work. There's freshmen, there's JV, and there's varsity games. And I don't think you've been assigned varsity games as a white hat yet, but create your own pregame for those games. Okay, so this is only talking points here, only things, little nuggets. You can take this subtopic list, cut it in half, do whatever, how you want to create it, okay? So the first part here is crew expectation. Be prepared mentally and physically. Stay ready so you don't have to.
Be ready.
There you go. Nice. And how do you do that? Okay, well, you get your body, mind, and soul ready for your game or for the season as it approaches. Okay, and this right here, again, is not just to use for in a pregame, but you can also use this in a preseason when you meet with your crew or someone like that. Arrival time, I don't know what time you guys get to your games, whatever the crew chief says, 90, 60 minutes for those games that are listed. Make sure your uniform is ready to go. If you going to be on a film, everyone is filming, and someone's going to take a picture of you. Hint, hint, referee magazine. Stop it, Mike. Make sure your uniform looks good. Okay? Make sure you look the part right there. Now, this is what you guys are doing. You're preparing yourselves. You're reading and you're reviewing the mechanics and your rules. Prior to the game, I'm very sure you're reviewing a rule. You're reviewing the mechanics. Communication when you're with a crew. How do you communicate? How do you want your crew to communicate with you? Are you a crew person? Are you dominant? Are you a listener? Do you add in? And myself, with communication as a crew, I keep it open. I want them all to be included, involved. And I will give them topics to speak on. How do you communicate with the coaches? How do you deal with problem coaches? Do they hurt your nerves and you want to buck up at them? Or you just listen and move on? Do they irritate you? How about the players? I told you how I feel about the players, and I do get times where there are some players that I have to be a little more tougher with, but in professional, respectful way. One thing I want to say about communication with the crew and coaches and players, there's one thing as a crew chief, there was a personal assessment that we took that was presented to us about 4 or 5 years ago, Dave, you'll say?
Yes. With Steve Hoover?
Yeah. And you and all of you probably have taken a DISC personal assessment test at some point. And it'll tell you, are you dominant, assertive, result oriented? Are you an influencer? Do you like people? Are you outgoing? S, steadiness. Are you very patient with them? And a C, are you conscious? Are you a logic person? Do you like data, facts, analytic? Those things shows kind of your personality, and it's going to come out with your crew. And I can see it. I can feel it. And those individuals, I will let them use their skill set. So myself, I'm pretty calm, laid back, but I will give them the parts to let the crew gel, and I will speak up and insert when I need to. I try not to be confrontational with the coaches. And so I wanted to share that with you to see what your personality type is, because when you're the crew chief on a Pop One or AYF game, they can be over the top. And there's situations that you got to be able to manage with those coaches, with the administration, so it doesn't go all the way out to the crowd. So I wanted to share that. So I told you I'm compassionate here. On the field, when we hit the field, what is our clock like? Do we have a working clock? Does the clock have 0.5 on it, a tenth of a second? We got to be aware of that. Our balls, do we have ample enough footballs out there? And we don't have to worry about if they're Wilsons until we get to the playoffs, correct? You want to check the field. You guys know all this stuff, I know, so I'm just using talking points here. So please add in whenever you want to. How the pylons do. You have pylons. One of the first things I would say that you should check, does the goalpost have padding? Okay. Then you're checking the teams. You're checking for their equipment. Are they properly equipped? So when you start the game, such as does the knee pads cover? So you start the game, they come up, oh, well, you could tell them to put them down, but you're already pre-checked. Clock again, 5-man back judge or the line judge will discuss game situation and the tendencies with the clock operator. Can he reset the clock, for one thing? Are you aware of the clock, the whole crew? When you kill the clock, glance at the clock. Kill the clock, glance at the clock. We'll skip the next one. Coin toss. Me, I prefer it to be 5 minutes prior to the national anthem, unless they have another script where they want to do the national anthem and present something else. But I like to get the coin toss out of the way at least 5 minutes so we could get in position thereafter and kick off on time. Timeouts. Are you escorting your team to the 9-yard marks or inside? Unless there's a huddle, timeout, and the coach want to come out to the huddle on the field. We can have a coach and what? How many attendants? Is it 2 or 3?
Two, it's total of 3 coaches, right?
Yes. So in your measurements, let's keep this all in 5-man. And measurements in 5-man, do you know your positions? Who's doing what? Do you guys, if we have a makeup crew, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. Make sure that you know where you're going to go. This outline right here is for the preseason, making sure that the umpire has the ball with his back to the defense. Halftime, 15-20. Could be shortened with the coach's approval. 3 minutes are mandatory. Penalties. And I know this whole group knows this. The 5, 10, and 15 yards penalty plus the others. PSK, other attack-ons. You've studied that. You know that. So we get in a situation, especially you umpires, have holding, offense. Do you know if we're going 10, half the distance, or what? I've had situations where umpires just didn't know. And as a referee, then I have to tell them, and I'm not good at math. Just tell them, okay, you're going this. So know those distance, know where you're enforcing it from. Ball mechanics, make sure it doesn't hit the ground. Make sure we have a good daisy chain. Practice on how to toss the ball so it's not wildly thrown somewhere. And know your positions of the ball back to the spot position of the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Loose ball. On muffs, take your whistle out your mouth. Keep the whistle out. Same way with fumbles. If we have a fumble, the first person there, get in there and get a visual on the ball. Second, get close in there as well, but start separating colors. Third, separate colors around the pile. This is a great one, and it'll make you look good on film, and it's good on judging if A is going to have the ball or B or K. That is important. That's the time really for you to go to work. There's fine work. There's get the work in. Then there's dead ball officiating. Can't say enough about this. Very important for the game control. You're watching the play. Play's over. Where's your vision? Looking directly at the ball, looking at your feet, or do you have a wide vision? And that comes when I was speaking about the reps. It comes with reps. You'll start getting the tempo of the games, the flow of the games, the confidence. 53. Oh, you won't have much time here, huh, Katie, for your film?
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we dedicate, this is our primary stuff. So if we take this whole time, that's fine.
Player safety, conduct. Who's the strong person in there? Hopefully the umpire is. Umpire and referee, if you could control and deal with those things in the middle there, with their conduct and their action, it was spread out to the sideline and up into the stands. So you're if you're a quiet person or meek or reserved, that's the time to get in there and separate colors and take control there. I do have weather here, yeah, but and all of this again, for weather and different things like that, please look at the website on that information or in the rule book. But our website have all this how to handle weather situation and what is others? Yeah, that's one of them.
For San
But look,
Diego, weather is usually just lightning, right? Is there anything else?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. There's another that's important that's on there too. Point of emphasis. What is our point of emphasis this year in the rule book?
Formations.
Yeah. And is it a sportsmanship as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So signals. If you want your ratings to be good, if you want to look on film, how is your signals? Is it incomplete? Look at my shoulders. If you can see, if I drop it down. Incomplete. Pow. Clock. Thumbs to thumbs. You're winding the clock, 2 arms inside. Make your signals look good. Nice and crisp. Not too fast. Some of you probably use radios. Only speak when there's dead ball and when you have to. Offer information. Like Mike, the clock should have been at 6:36. Now this clock is at 6:26. And if the referee has a mic, he will get on the mic to the clock operator. Clock operator, please reset the clock to 6:26. 6:26. Wait a whole hour for him to do it or she, and then come back and say thank you. Chain crew, again, as I mentioned, Malik, with your pregame, if you work in the chains, have your outline, how you're going to work things with the chain crew, the pace of the chains. And as a referee on a Friday night, I want to keep the game moving. So if you get there and you're there for the box, just drop your bean bag and we're going. The chains are coming, we're going. Because we just reset the chains to 1st and 10. So we could do the math there. We know where we need to go. Because I'm going to start winding the clock. Free kicks. Where are we at on the free kick? Has anybody worked referee here in any game as a referee?
Yeah, I've worked at JV and a Pop Warner and flag.
Okay. Please go to the goal line
Mhm.
on the kickoff.
Yeah.
Don't do like Mike Andrews and stop at the 5-yard line. They kick it.
He goes
I'm
far.
sharing this with you. I have no qualms about it. Well, that's a touchback. Kid, look at me. When I'm at the 5-yard line. Yes, it happened. It happened. Don't worry about sharing it with Bob Hood. I'm already sharing it. But that's what I like to do, share those nuances with folks. Because we work a lot of games. You know, you work girls' flag games, and you may think that the field is shortened and may catch you off guard. So nonetheless, get back there. Everybody know your positions and what you're looking for. You're in your zones, right? Who has what? The legal blocks, holds, all those goodies. Same with anticipated short free kicks, scrimmage kicks. Look, stay in those zones. Keep a wide vision. because now we have the fish flowing upstream or downstream, knowing how the ball was possessed. Run plays, stay in those zones. Garf has a great, and I know you guys have gone over this, the zone, that thing helps me so much. If I stay in my zone, read my zone, then I can expand. But if my vision is in my zone, I'm okay for the most part. No, fill those PATs, you guys got that. And then overtime, extra period, what can they do? What's going to happen? I'm going to call the coaches out, talk to them. We're going to call the players out, do the coin toss. Whoever wins, offensive, defense, or what side. Then the post game, which we spoke about earlier, is highly important, where everyone is reviewing film, everyone is talking to each other about what happened, did we do on the last game, so we could get stronger for the next week. So in my actual pregame, which are none of the attachments, Katie, it's where were we at last week? How did we do? And how are we going to get better and stronger for the next week? And now we're for the last 3 weeks, I say we've been there. We had our second observer, Gunzelman, this past Friday, and we're pretty much on point. So we're there. It's just little things here and there, like all games, like all crews, they have those. So I sent a couple of other attachments that are just pre-games, but I have bigger ones, much bigger than, where detailed to everyone has to present 5 or 6 items for the most. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you have any questions, please let me know. But basically, I didn't want to get into those type. The one on the left, I would use for the most part, but then I have others. What is a big help if we all have time to meet on Wednesdays, which we've met on Zoom on some Wednesdays.
Okay.
But if there's some of us, I block Wednesdays from doing the girls' flags. And so all of us can't meet on Wednesdays, and we could get this, our talking points out of the way, a discussion. So when we have a double header, we just touch on a few of those items we need to. Because you won't be able to go over a lot of your pregame stuff when you have a 4:30 and 7:15 kickoff. But pregame is important, and all have to be engaged and to add some information. With fouls, when there's a foul, I want Mike, I have holding 76 offense. Okay, Katie or Junius, the umpire. I have you at umpire, Junius. We're going to go, and you called the foul. Holding 76 offense. Okay, we're going from the previous spot, or we're going from this spot. Still first down. You agree? Yes, we're good.
Yes.
Because it's yours. It's your foul. It's yours, and you're going to take ownership of it and the enforcement. I'm just going to make sure I'm doing the right thing, or you can correct me. Okay. Same way if there's double or multiple fouls, PSKs, things like that. So that's what I look for on prescribing or communicating penalties. Any questions?
Yeah. Do you do like before the season starts, do you have a meeting with your crew to kind of talk about a lot of the fundamental stuff? Like you were just talking about, like foul reporting, cross-field mechanics, like just basically the ways that you want your crew to operate or anything like that?
Yes. And it's mechanic driven for the
Okay.
most part at that point. And then it's also administrative stuff. But I really like the line judge. You know, we have a first down, right, Katie?
Mhm.
I have seen people just kill the clock. For me, myself, I prefer them, pow, go across, kill it, one hand or whatever, two hands, get the clock, come across the chest.
Signal, okay.
Yeah. I've seen others do it other ways, but I prefer that because when I see that, and then I'm gonna glance back over at the chains because they're waiting for me.
Mhm.
I'm going here, I'm going here, and we're rocking and rolling. Um, Back to footballs. I'm a person of old ball out, new ball in.
Mhm.
Don't tell Don Carey this. If he probably told you guys, put that old ball down until you get the new ball. With me, I like either back judge or myself are taking that old ball out, and I'm definitely helping getting the new ball in to the umpire, unless the umpire wants to run out there and get it.
Mhm.
But we're getting that ball in. Teams, a lot of these teams, they move fast too. You
Mhm.
know, with them getting in and out, the ball down. Now we could back out. We can get our count in, and we can now start focusing on the formation of the tendencies there. So those are things I talk about, you know, the game tempo and how we want to keep that tempo moving
Mhm.
after a score. We walking? Are we getting back down there? Are we clearing the sideline? Those type of things.
Mhm. Cool.
Any others? Guess you're tired of listening to me, huh?
This is all great stuff. Good. And so I have copies of this, you guys, so I'll probably load them into Google Docs and then share the link in the resources tab. So have that, if that's okay.
And I do have others. I do have others. There's
Yeah, anything you
that.
want to send to me, I'll make sure that
Okay,
everyone gets access to it. Yeah.
sounds good. Well, I hope everyone's had a great season so far. And there's a lot of games we're working. So I say get in the reps and stuff, but also watch your health. You know, make sure you're getting the right diet, exercise, um, and the rest, because that's highly important. It would cause some fatigue and you're just not going to be yourself. So just remember that as you're going and they're going to assign you quite a few games, especially if your last name ends in an A, Moha- Mohammed, right?
Yep. Hey,
Yeah.
Mike, actually, you reminded me, this was actually a question I wanted to ask you earlier. And this is regarding recovery. So it's a perfect segue. So you said you had 3 games early on yesterday, and then you had 4 flag games later in the afternoon. Uh, what do you do to recover? That's, you're on your feet all day and you're running up and down the field, and it should take a toll on your body. What do you do to recover after a long week, especially since the season's getting longer since we have flag games added on, and it just feels like basically the season's twice as long as it normally would have been in the past.
So there's Katie looked like she was just drinking some fluids there. That's
Okay.
number one. Get your fluids back. Know what's your body could take to hydrate you. Um, is it some type of fruit, or is it water, or is it what do we have? Get hydrated. And this is an awesome question that we need to address with our association. Seriously. In the off season, the season doesn't stop. Okay. I do track and field too as a starter for 28 years. And then this year I try to add in lacrosse so I can work on my cardiovascular. And I did. So that and hitting the gym got me stronger, got me where I can really test into my energy. So when the season started, I was good. Now you get to this time of the year, like in our crew meeting, I told the crew that, hey guys, sometimes with the amount of games, I am going to be tired. Last 2 weeks are that week. I am literally physically tired because I have a full-time job where if I want to go work a JV game or a freshman game or a girls game to get there for the 3:30 or 4, I have to be up at 4:30, get into work, 5:30 to get off early to go work those games, get home, eat, and try to do things and get some rest. So your hydration and get your rest, whatever you have to take to put you down. I don't know if it's whatever they call it, melatonin,
Mhm.
you know, or cherry juice. Pay attention to your body and your mind here because you're going to do the teams and yourself, especially yourself, a disservice with the amount of work you can take on. So right now, I'm fatigued, I'm tired. When I get off the phone, my wife already told me she's going to give me the cherry juice and the melatonin,
Melatonin,
put
yeah.
me back so I
Healthy
can
stuff.
recharge my mind. And I'm sharing this because I definitely care about all our officials in that area. You don't want to start playing on your heart and your organs and things like that. So off-season conditioning, whatever you have to do that. So when the season starts, it can carry you to those times. And hopefully you have that cardiovascular, you have your muscle there, and your diet is on point. And then you have to get your rest whenever it is. Take those naps, power naps, and your cards and your lunchtime, whatever. Uh, and hopefully you're ready to go back then.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Mike, can I add another thing to that?
yes.
They also I've been from last year I struggled with all that. And then this year with our group and then the cardio, I had a couple opportunities to run with Katie, um doing bleachers and stuff like that, but also I found stretching and doing some yoga for me because I had some tightness everywhere. So I try to implement that in my regimen too. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Awesome. Yeah, that is
Mobility.
highly important. And to have that stretching, thanks, Malik. Um, watch how you're stretching too, right? Because you're going to get those micro tears and you want to repair. So your
Yeah,
diet is going to
yeah,
help you in that hydration. Especially look at the fruits, get those proteins in there.
yeah.
Um, and so I'm going to talk to Steve and we're going to do so we can give a focus in that area. So when we're out there getting it in, because we're going to get it in,
Hmm.
that we're physically there to do that. Whatever it is. And, your numbers will be great for your doctor and things like that. But
Oh yeah.
let's keep a vision of that for sure.
Yep.
Another supplement, if people are interested for recovery, is magnesium. That helps just like rejuvenate the muscles. I take melatonin and magnesium together for sleep. And
Never take a melatonin, but
yeah.
Katie, I just started taking the last couple of weeks, magnesium glycinate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I take. And it seems to keep that anxiety part down as well.
Mhm.
Um, so this is highly important for us. And it, earlier in the season, now the weather is changing on us, right? But earlier in the season, that's when you seriously feel some things when you have that heat and that hot, moving air on you. Can
Yeah.
you sustain that stuff? I see this group definitely as leaders. You guys are going to be called upon, and you're going to, uh, you know,
Mhm.
I'm a, I'm a, I don't have everybody's name on this list from your class, and where can I get that?
Mhm.
I need to get that. Maybe from Tom, because I'm gonna try to be a sleeper and cut Dave off and grab somebody. So, and I like that challenge, and I like that energy and that spirit. We do this because we love the game. We're here, and once it get in you, it's in you. And let's go out there and work hard and keep making it happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
So one of the things on those really, really hot days, I put a watermelon in the refrigerator and then sliced it up. And at halftime, it was the best recovery at halftime I
Totally
ever.
agree. That is the best.
Yep.
And I wanted some for yesterday. Well, like I said, 7:15 kickoff. By the time I got back from Oceanside, got back here, ate a little bit. I didn't get time to go to the store, but I do go um, to the GTM store, and they have like 79 cents, 99 cents, all these drinks on their shelf. So I grab all those waters and different things, and I have a bag. I put it in there, and I take it with me. I had a chance to make my steel cut oatmeal, had egg whites, I had
Mhm.
my food. And so I worked the first three games with Aaron Judd, had a couple of my drinks. And then I was headed to St. Augustine to work with Charlton Lynch. And Charlton got there and he said, I had to hurry up and stop and get something to eat,
Mhm.
and I'll be there. I said, okay, I'll see you when you get there. And then as we were at halftime of all those games, I kept pulling out my drinks and my food. He said, where you get all that food from? I said, I have to eat and drink to replenish to keep my focus and myself going. And I shared with him, the snacks I had. But hey, that's looking out for your crew, looking out for your people. But I agree with you, Bob. Watermelon is the best. So I will go to the store probably tomorrow to get some. So get your pregame outlines. Just make up one if you haven't already that you like for your youth games or whatever. Again, I have plenty of others. And get your crew engaged and talk about who's looking at what we're looking for. What are we going to do in this situation? And then you're going to have situations that you didn't talk about that hopefully at some point in time you got knowledge of how to handle that. Case in point, lightning. When you have a youth game and things get disruptive, how to keep those coaches respectfully back so that it doesn't venture into the stands where you can clean up that on the field, and with those coaches, you can calm the stands. So I just give you that nugget about youth football because they can be a little more challenging in some situations.
Yep,
A
for
lot
sure.
of compassion.
Yep.
Good luck and prayers.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mike. Does anyone
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
have any other questions for Mike? I know we cut off the AMA.
This isn't a question, but I wanted to share this with everyone. So, Mike actually ref my games when I was in middle school, high school, when I was, I believe, in junior college at Southwestern College, when I began coaching at Bonita Vista, and I started coaching again at Southwestern College. And I had the honor of working with him last year on a crew, and for youth football. So it was definitely a monumental moment in my football career. So it was a full circle moment. So it was really a blast to be a part of. So Mike, thanks for everything you do for us and for the community and for the sport. And we really appreciate you coming and joining us for this meeting tonight.
Yes, thank you, Muhammad. I do remember, you know that.
Oh yeah.
I wish I was, hopefully I was part to help you become an official. And I definitely remember you. And I remember that game at Point Loma.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you had some rules questions. You had some things and you were on point there in your first year. And, you're going to have some of us coming in dragging and tired, and you guys are picking up that energy slack there. And I totally appreciate it. And that's what you did. So um, I won't forget it.
Thank you,
Hey,
Mike.
hey, Mike, how long did it take before kids stopped calling you coach?
It's funny at work, they still call me coach. I want to say referee, but I
Mhm.
stay with the coach
Yeah, yeah,
because,
yeah,
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 they still do. They
yeah.
still coach. And I call people coach. Hey, coach, how you doing? So it's okay.
Right.
And I miss it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Dave has been a great mentor too. Dave Garza, definitely.
Oh yeah.
He's a mentor. My goodness, Pat Morocco, Cal
Mhm,
Evans, Don, Mike Mothershed. Uh,
mhm,
oh my God, Steve. You guys have no idea how much work he puts in to through the whole season. Well, you do. You see the information that
mhm,
we get, but I watched him work on one of the state games, and he was doing a lot. So
mhm.
he puts a lot into it to make this thing happen. That's why I feel bad when I have a screw up that I have to call him, or he calls me when I'm on the field at a youth game. Oh, here's Steve. Oh, here it goes. But he puts in all the work of communication back to those coaches. And again, if when not if when you have a situation or a screw up, just learn from it.
Mhm.
Please share it with someone and just learn from it, get stronger, and move on. If you have an issue that you can't move on, call me. I've had many, and I can just say you, hey, learn from it, get back in these things,
Mhm.
learn from it, talk to people, move on from it.
Well,
It happens at all levels.
Yeah.
well, Mike and I had a playoff game together. You remember that playoff game we had
Yes,
at Madison High School
that was a
and
while
the
ago.
clock?
Yeah. You call you handled that well though.
Well, we had two fouls on each sportsmanlike conduct thrown on each coach, and we only had a second left on the clock. Remember, it's the clock operator that screwed us up.
Clock operators, they'll get us. They'll get us. They'll get us. Hey Dave, if I could share this with quickly, you guys. Reason why I brought up the clock, that point five. Do you guys remember that last year with the Helix Lincoln game?
No, I was there.
We're
Yeah.
in seven, man.
Hmm.
Quarterback is
Hmm.
clocking. He's clocking the ball so they could get downfield. So I clocking him incomplete, and I'm keeping a vision of him because his clocking process was shoddy. So I want to make sure that he did it the right way. Okay. And so now the clock operator who I went to elementary school with was terrible during the game in the first part. And so we asked him during the game several times to reset the clock, and it took forever. But again, when we're coming down and we have point five, it should have been point one. We didn't go over and tell him to reset it to 1 second, which we should have. And I didn't think of it so much of myself because now I'm watching them trying to get in the field goal kicker. So you could be a crew saver in those situations, right? You would think the side judge was all over that, right? Well, because we're in 7 and mechanics. So coming this year, I had Lincoln and Arbor View from Nevada. Same thing was developing. And I told the crew on my mic, keep an eye on the clock, keep an eye on the clock, because this guy is terrible. I hate him, but I love him, but I hate him. He's terrible. And sure enough, he was trying to conserve that time. Lincoln had the ball. They're down 45-44. I said, he's going to pull something, guys. Keep your eyes, keep aware. But Lincoln threw a long pass that went incomplete instead of kicking a field goal, and they lost the game. But those things. So things will happen, and hopefully you have a crew saver, okay? And if you don't have a crew saver, you guys talk about it and say, hey, why didn't we talk about that? Someone correct that. It's not a time to be passive or silent or dehydrated. You got to be ready. Hope I didn't scare you guys with all this stuff.
That was great.
You gotta get ready for it.
Yeah, they're ready for it.
As much
And
as we can learn from everything you guys have experienced, the better off we'll be. I love the stories because I always learn something from them.
yeah. Anything else for me?
Anything else, you guys? All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll make those 3 documents available. If you have anything else for the group that you want me to share, just send it my way. I'll get it.
Katie.
Yeah.
Hey,
Really
thank you so much, and to your whole group of being leaders and putting in the work. That's huge. You guys have. I just love it. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Take care.
Well done, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Good job, man. Thank you, Mike.
We'll see you.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. I think that's it. We've got 4 minutes left unless anybody has something they want to.
No, just going back to Greg's question.
Oh, yeah, Greg, you had a question.
Yeah, if he just read the definition of targeting, and you'll see that it really is helmet above the shoulders, and it's pretty specific.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll re-review that.
Yeah, page 33.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's just not the helmet. It could be the forearm, elbows, any
Yep,
contact
that's
above
right.
the shoulders. Remember, it's not just the helmet.
You're right.
Yeah.
Helmet, forearm, hand, fist, elbow, or shoulder above the shoulder.
And we need 2 people to verify that too. It can't be just one person. We need to have 2 people verify it, and that way we can go ahead and hold it for targeting. And remember, in high school, it's not an automatic disqualification. Unlike in college, it is a ejectable offense. So just remember that.
I will.
All right. Any other last questions or comments?
We're good.
All right.
Thanks again, Katie.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys showing
Thank
up.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Have a
Katie.
good one.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.